Cast, where the fandoms unite, with the Boba Fett swagger and the Jedi's in sight. It's a comic book cocktail, shaken and stirred.
Reaction
We're the
right
coolest cats in the whole nerd herd. Grab your badge and strike.
That's it.
That's it. Well done. Well done on the Michael
I
Bublé.
I like that.
Geeky song.
I know. I was joking around. I was like, something from Michael Bublé, and that's what I came up with.
I really regret not filming. We don't have a huge crowd here today, but our friends in the audience immediately when that started, like I saw Eric just put his hand over his mouth. John gave me a look like, really? I loved it.
Well, it's better than 40 seconds of death metal.
Death metal. Welcome to Concast, everybody. We are here at the Burrow live today in miraculous Wichita, Kansas. We are going to be, this is kind of a relaunch show. We wanted to bring things back to the Burrow like we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to be talking with folks in the audience. We're going to be talking about the future of the podcast. We're going to be talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the future of it and other conventions. We've got some tech news today. I've got some Star Wars questions for the guys, whatever pops into our head. Oh shoot, I thought I turned the computer off.
No, you didn't.
So today is just a good day to kind of get a good restart. We're going to be announcing some of the guests that we got coming up on the podcast. And that is the gist of it. I'm going to say hi to our friends in the audience. We know, hey guys, we knew we weren't going to get a huge crowd today because we haven't done this as I was thinking. I think it's been since 2020. We haven't done the Burrow show
Before 2020, because we went
Right
for a
before
while
COVID.
to the Legos. We went for a while to the Lego thing, and that was before COVID.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so it's been early 2019.
So it's been a while, and every time, even when we stopped the podcast, every time we talked about it, we're like, what do you miss about doing a podcast? I kind of miss hanging out at the Burrow and talking with everybody and actually getting input, because with the podcast, the way it goes a lot of times online is,
Hey, Kelly.
hey, Kelly, we get reactions, 30 seconds after we ask a question or something because of the delay. So here we can actually look at people and ask a real question or get input, and kind of miss that. So we thought we'd bring that back.
Mm-hmm.
Cookie has never done a Burrow show. So Cookie can say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I think he's met, I don't know if he's met Eric before.
I think
but-
I've actually played with him at TsunamiCon, haven't
Maybe.
I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cookie's joining us. I talked to Frankie a little bit on the phone today. He said, tell everybody hi. Even though he's not doing the podcast with us anymore, he's still, friend. We hang out, all that stuff. So I'm going to share this real quick
Very good.
while I let somebody else talk, so I'm not just looking at my phone.
Yep, and let me say we're very, very happy to be back at the Burrow for once a month. We're gonna, if everything goes well and we don't completely irritate the Burrows, we're gonna be doing a once a month, first Wednesday of the month is pretty much what we're thinking of right now. I say that, but let me check the calendar for July.
And some of that's going to change.
Okay, so yeah, that'll be the second. I'm making sure it's not going to fall on the 4th of July.
Some of that will, of course, change depending on the shows that we have when we go out and the Burrows, because they have the activities going on up here. They do gaming sessions. They do all sorts of stuff. So we're going to be talking about that. Oh, there, look. It even showed up right in my feed, so I can just share it directly.
Oh, look at that! So nice.
Like it was
preordained.
like it was meant to be. Now I don't have to look at that the rest of the show. I can look right here between your camera and John's camera and try to figure out which one to watch.
Just one. Watch.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna.
Your left eye goes to that one. The right eye goes to that.
God, I should have had a drink before all this. All right.
Or you should have had a drink.
So how's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Okay.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking.
I don't give a shit about you.
No, man.
It's still an unsponsored podcast. I can say whatever the hell I want. So it's. I shouldn't say it. We are here at the Burrow, and they take good care of us, and in a way we represent. So I don't want to screw that up. But having that said, let's do our geekgasms real quick, and then we're going to catch up with some folks, and we'll start talking geek news and things.
Okay.
So
what fun geeky things did you do?
well, this week for me has been a lot of Anime Festival Wichita, so it's getting that lined up. Other shows. I would say if I were to have a geekgasm this week, I would narrow it down to either we finally got all the shows for this month, which I released finally booked today, which is a weird thing to say when we're already announcing shows, but we had some
No,
booking finalizations.
That is not a weird thing. Look at all the other conventions out there. I mean, they slowly, as they get people booked in, they'll go ahead and release who they have booked in. I mean, it's a common occurrence.
No, I meant like normally though, we're all, even today, the guys, I was like, hey, we are doing this show at the end of the month. Let's make sure we got our hotel rooms lined up just 3 weeks out, you know? And then the other thing I'll say too is
Hey, Jennifer.
finally got my socks from Jen or Jess
Yes.
that she sent a couple weeks ago, and a new keychain right there.
Mm-hmm.
Ghostbusters. I haven't even read this one yet.
Put on your reading
14th
eyes.
North Moore Street, New York, number 3. Drop in any mailbox. I gotta see what this is from.
I have
I don't,
no
I don't
idea.
recognize that. That's kind of cool though. But that will go on my key ring too.
All right.
So, what about you? Anything good? Anything cool?
Mine is, I had presented like the last time I'd showed off that that most important machine in the universe that I created.
Have you guys seen that on the podcast at all?
Yeah, with the flickering lights and stuff. Straight out of Airplane 2. But I've had some interest in me making another one for somebody, and how much, and that just got me going down the rabbit hole, because one of the hardest things doing that was just, putting everything together, running the MOSFETs, soldering all the connections, getting the resistors down and doing everything. And it was just like a hodgepodge. If you open up that thing in there, it really looks like something made a nest. And so I am looking at ways to go ahead and streamline it, which has led me down the rabbit hole of creating my own printed circuit boards, which remarkably you can get done very cheaply.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Even cheaper than the PCB way. There's other companies out there that will do them like dirty. You pay more in shipping than you do for the boards. You can get like 5 boards done for like $2 a board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's an app you can download and then put it out on the app.
That's what I was doing on like the last several days. Is I went ahead and downloaded the program. I had played with it once years ago, but I never really had anything to play with it with. It was just me dicking around. But it's called Fritzing, Fritzing, Fritzing. And that one it's a prototyping program, and it's got multiple different things where you can go ahead and, it's just like, you're playing with it, and you got your breadboard there and stuff like that. And then it's got another tab that'll show you the schematics. And then it's got another tab that you can actually work out what the printed circuit board will look like, run your traces top and bottom and all the stuff like that. And then you can export that into a Gerber document file and use that and send it off to one of those places to have your board created. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm trying to learn how to use that freaking program. But I'm finding as I get older, that whole neuroplasticity thing is going away. But
This
damn
is the
it,
conversation beforehand. John and I
will
were talking about getting
figure
old.
it out.
Yeah.
And I will not be thwarted. I will figure out how to do this, and I will make my own printed circuit boards.
So your geekasm is, I will do something cool in the future.
No, I mean,
I get where
I'm in the throes of doing it right
Wait a
now.
second, you're going to make your own printed circuit boards, or you're going to have somebody else make them for you and buy them?
Oh yeah, that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to design them.
Because you really impressed me for a second there, but then
Well,
I thought,
I could make them.
Yeah.
I mean, you could buy the stuff and you can start doing the etching on it and stuff like that. But no,
no.
You got a good geekasm this week, or?
Yes, I do. Kind of.
I'm going to say something real quick, because this is already messing with me. I'm going to have to get used to doing this kind of show again. It's been so, because I should have a laptop in front of me so I can chat with people online. So you're not doing it all. And then on the other hand, I don't know if I should make eye contact with people like we used to do, where we'd all talk, because I'm so used to looking at a screen
yeah.
and making sure that I'm at least in frame. So it's like, where do you look now?
Well, we should talk to each other. I
Yeah,
think.
we should, but yeah.
Well,
We
see,
can
that's
talk to them too when we are talking to them.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
right now you were talking to me.
Yeah.
so,
Go ahead.
Yeah,
What was your
okay.
geekasm?
So I don't know if anybody knows. I had to go to the hospital a while back. Had a foot infection.
that's a great geek.
But I had to go in and get infusions. When I would go in and get these infusions, I met a guy there that would come in at the same time I do every day. And we got to talking, and he is a Bigfoot guy. Super into Bigfoot.
He means like Sasquatch Bigfoot. Not like this guy just,
hairy man, yeah.
He just had a Bigfoot.
Yeah, no. And he goes on expeditions, and he's going to Colorado here soon. And I talked to him about coming on, and we interviewing him during the show. and possibly in the next year or so, he might be going down to Oklahoma, and maybe we tag along and film it.
Is there a Bigfoot presence in Oklahoma?
Huge.
There is.
Absolutely huge.
Oddly, there is
In-
one even in
Arbuckle-
Kansas.
In the Arbuckles.
In the Arbuckles?
Arbuckles, the Arbuckle Mountain Range, which
Oh.
aren't actual mountains per se, but if you're from Kansas
Oh,
or
they're big.
Oklahoma,
They're big.
then they're mountains.
Oh, yeah.
My kids have a small little piece of property. And when I say that, I mean like it is just a piece of property in the woods that they park a camper on and it stays there. And just about 2 miles from this, close to McAllister, Oklahoma, there's a guy that does Bigfoot tours. He did the same thing. He bought a piece of property like them, but that's where he starts his Bigfoot tours. And he takes people out in Oklahoma, and you go out searching for Bigfoot and where Bigfoot nests and all sorts of shit. So it's
I want to know what
bigger there.
technology they have.
The Bigfoots?
No, not the Bigfoots, the Bigfoot hunters.
We have
Yeah.
Bigfoot hunters
I
here in
mean, is it
Wichita.
just
They're not
straight up
very-
Elmer Fudd,
Yeah,
or
they're-
are they
they're-
going high tech?
They're not real successful, but this guy's got some pictures and some stuff that was interesting. So
Yeah, and I look forward to having him on the podcast for sure. And I know here in a little bit, after we talk about some of the other stuff, we'll talk a little bit about some of the things we're going to be changing. Some directions will change, but
cryptids.
well, yeah, I love the
have-
cryptids, and I know you really want to get into them, and I do too. I think it's cool. However, I don't want to get in a spot like when we're talking about the pyramid just not long ago. Got real excited about that news when it came out, and then come to find about half of it just got debunked immediately. You know, and it's that a little bit of left down, so you don't want to put. It's hard to talk about stuff new when it comes out, but talking about them in general is really easy.
I got an opinion on it. I don't think it was really
Here's-
debunked. I think they are saying it's debunked. 'Cause
See,
Yeah,
they're-
you're also one of those assholes that believe pandas are real, and I told you I was going to bring that into this episode. So, have you guys heard the thing pandas aren't real?
Hold on here. I've been to Panda Express. They taste good.
No.
They do.
I've seen the ones that just the dogs.
Yeah, the dogs, like that's part of the theory, and then another good part of it is just that
It's a guy in a suit. It's just way
there,
too.
there was no recorded information on pandas till like the late 1800s, and really until the early 1900s, we didn't have any real documentation of what a panda even looked like.
Okay, when were
So,
gorillas
hold on.
discovered?
I know
Mountain
the same
gorillas,
argument.
Hold on. We didn't have any.
Right.
The
The locals
West-
there.
The Western white people didn't have
No.
any. That doesn't
China,
mean
China didn't have any
Exactly.
record of
bullshit.
it.
There was a dude up there. There was a dude up there going, "Oh yeah, man, I've seen it all."
Well, yeah, and there would have been a whole bunch of people up there who've seen the pandas, and they're thinking, "Man, why do I got to tell anybody about them? Because they're all fucking over
Well,
over here."
it's like the Roman concrete.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which they figured out now.
They figured out, but we lost it for the longest time because they didn't write down what they were supposed to do because everybody knew what to do.
Yeah, and
I mean, there was a whole city that people have not been able to locate because everybody knew. Oh yeah, it's over there. Where?
I'm with you, Daryl. I'm with you, brother.
don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't think pandas exist, but what I was saying was there's no documentation. I didn't say there was no pandas.
None
There
of
was no
Our
documentation.
documentation.
No, none in China. China had no documentation until late. Google it.
I
Yeah, they had
shall.
no documentation. So, like when you look at the Chinese zodiac,
But
there's
again,
no panda.
they're in
There's
remote
no.
places in the
Yeah,
mountains.
I get
and
it.
all those
They just
people that
had not
lived
been
there
seen.
thought, "Why do I need to tell anybody about this? They're all over the place." If documentation makes something real, the Chinese
Then
emperor,
Bigfoot is real
yeah,
because we have documentation of Yetis in China
Yeah.
clear back to the 1200s,
Okay.
but we don't have.
and dragons. There
Yep.
was an imperial dragon keeper for the first emperor.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean there were pandas. I'm just saying. Just run with it. Trust me. I think that is a great argument for people that are like Bigfoot hunters and stuff of going, we literally have more documentation in Asia of Yetis and Sasquatch than we do of pandas.
Yeah.
That we know exist.
And mountain gorillas.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
They're in every damn zoo now.
a good argument, but it is tough. Please tell me that I'm right.
Well, the panda
Please.
was largely unknown to the outside world until
Yes.
the 19th century. There is evidence
Which
that
is
the
the
animal
1800s.
was known within China for centuries. However, the documentation was sparse, ambiguous, and indirect. It doesn't mean it wasn't there.
Okay, so no documentation. Sparks in
Sparse, ambiguous, and
Okay.
indirect.
okay.
All
That's a
right.
$5 word.
Ancient Chinese texts include references to animals that might be pandas, but the
I've seen
descriptions
that.
are vague and the terminology inconsistent. For example, terms like Pixiu, and don't even give me the Chinese character reference for that because I can't pronounce that either. And the Mo have been suggested as possibly early names for the panda, but these terms were also used for other animals and mythical creatures. There are many textual descriptions in Chinese literature, but no known draw-from-life illustrations of pandas before the 19th century. And the panda was so rarely seen, it was sometimes thought to be a mythical beast, kind of like a 15-year-old boy who doesn't come out of his room. Not that I'm talking from experience there.
Well, like they think a lot of documentation about tapirs might have been pandas because they're black and white and they're about the same size.
Really?
Well, it's
You know.
all about black and white for you, you
Yeah.
racist.
Motherfuckers.
So
So did we find the true ancient Chinese secret?
The true ancient Chinese secret is
So-
its real panda at
And
Panda
you're
Kitchen.
soaking in it.
all you need is some 5th century pictures of them is all you need, right?
That's all I need. Like if somebody had some video of the 5th century panda, I'd be pretty happy.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, I
with,
bet.
with AI, I can get you that.
Yeah, with AI you can. Oh, hey, Sean. how you
Sean.
doing? Where the fuck
We have
are we?
almost
Oh.
doubled our expectation.
Yeah, we thought we might get 3 people today. And all right.
Chris can walk in back there. What's up, babe?
Yeah, we're doing all right. But we honestly thought it would be, especially with Wizards doing their auction tonight and stuff. We thought maybe, but that's all right. Because
It's all good.
now we've done our geekgasms.
So let me
yeah.
just ask your opinion on, since
Or we back
if there's art of it that makes it real.
No. Well, that does make it that somebody
So-
saw it and it existed probably.
Temple guardians, chirens, dragons, sea serpents.
That doesn't make it real. There's just documentation then, and it helps.
Hold
support
on,
the
hold on.
argument.
You said that because it didn't have a documentation, it wasn't real, and now you're saying because this documentation doesn't make it real.
No, I said it helps. It helps the argument. No,
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is. He's
no,
definitely moving.
I
those
was
goalposts.
saying that the lack of documentation is one of the reasons it doesn't exist. But just because it has documentation. See, what you're doing is you're going, all of Elvis Presley is dead, therefore all dead
No,
people are
no.
Elvis Presley.
no,
There's a
no,
difference.
no, because not all of them is dead.
Huh?
There's a little bit of Elvis in everyone's heart.
Damn it.
Yeah, amen.
Oh, this is going to make the Death Star argument go really
'Cause
well.
he had an enlarged heart. Anyway,
All right, let's hit. If anybody got, I know John had a geekgasm. If anybody's got a geekgasm in the audience they'd like to share or anything, or did you want to talk about the cool new camera here?
Yeah, I
Hold
got
on.
a new Insta360 version 5. It just
hold on.
So for those on the audio version, Ash is slowly turning our camera by remote just to show off. To go.
Slowly.
Oh man, it's so dramatic. There's John and Becca, and
Hold on. Now we got to go the other direction.
are you kidding all the way around?
No.
To show the camera, and it's going to be too tall. It is. It's like an owl. It can turn its head all the way.
It can once,
Just,
just once.
Oh no, that was Frodo. No, that's Bilbo.
Bilbo, yeah, don't screw it up. There's
All right,
Sean. Oh my
there's
goodness.
Sean. And some, yeah, it doesn't go full through.
So you literally saw
It
everything
goes 300.
Everything but Yeah. what you wanted to see.
except for anybody in the back row in the camera.
Well,
Way to
here's
go.
the important part.
Yeah.
Us.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I got the new camera and I actually did something that I always wanted to do. I just didn't went out and storm chased with it. So
Yeah, we were talking about that briefly. Yeah.
yeah, so it was the one night that wasn't recent. It was a couple weeks ago, but it was like that night where like it was just nothing but lightning all over the place. But unfortunately, it outraced me, so I couldn't get any really good pictures.
I just love it when it's like
I got some far away pictures, but not like right up.
I had nothing to do, so I thought I'd try the very amateur hobby of chasing storms with my camera, and it was outracing me. It's all good.
Hey, it worked out well for Bill Paxton.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll say if
It
you
did for him.
for any friends listening to this that aren't from the Kansas area, the last couple of days we have had, like yesterday, it was just flooding here like crazy.
In
Had a lot of
some
rain.
areas, it was recorded up to 7 inches of rain.
Yeah.
Had fallen, and our local reservoir, Cheney Lake, which has been for the last year or two about 8 foot below where it should be, and it is. It is extremely low, and we were in phase 2 drought where they were fining people for watering their lawns last year. It has come up like 4 feet in the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been watching it on the U.S. Geological survey site, whatever, USGS.
I thought I was
website.
a nerd, dude. You got me beat.
Science nerd.
They got nice
In-
graphs.
In fairness, though, we start talking history, and you're going to be like, "Well, technically, under the watchful eye of the Tahitians
Oh,
in
no, here we go.
1692." I mean, they're just different geekdom.
Yeah, you may say that, but the wayfinders, the Polynesian wayfinders. Yeah, no. We're about going down my street. There was so much damn water down my street. And apparently, I caught a couple of videos of they had to send out rescue crews in rafts to pull people out of flooded, where they tried to drove through the flooded areas.
They
I haven't
had
seen that.
water rescue going down I-35 yesterday because a car went into the ditch and went into a deeper culvert and went under the water.
Oh,
I guess.
no.
Glug glug.
I just
Glug,
realized we
yeah.
are the old geeks.
Why? Because
We're
they just made a
talking weather.
caveman recipe.
We're talking weather on a geek podcast. Damn it.
Hey, I brought up graphs on the USGS website. I am true geek.
Damn it. At least John had the balls to go chase it.
Yeah.
I'll
But
talk
anyway,
about it tomorrow.
Yeah, so John was chasing it. I was sleeping well. I don't know what it is about when it storms. I sleep the hardest I ever sleep is when it storms. So I did not realize it was rain until I woke up. Not a single bolt of lightning woke me up.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, lightning probably.
Thunder does it.
Yeah, thunder. Unless the lightning strikes close.
Yes, I was
Then you
trying to-
have a fire and an explosion. You ever seen lightning hit a tree?
Boy, you
Oh,
went,
realize
you,
cool.
you're going through the whole
That
damn.
lightning
you
strike
realize
outside a window.
It is the
Yeah.
lightning that makes the thunder sound.
Ah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the lightning would have woken me up because then it creates the sound. You know, you
He's trying to.
being trod on by an elephant, you can say, "Oh, it was gray." The gray does not matter. It was the fact that the elephant was there to begin with and trod upon you.
No, see, I love it.
Here we go.
Between lightning strikes now and fucking whether pandas are real or not, I see that there's a lot more argument when you're in front of other people.
Yeah, okay, but I'm
No,
gonna.
this
hey,
makes me want to get to my next subject really
I
bad.
just want to throw this in so we.
But
can
we don't argue.
We can
debate.
completely
No, no,
digress.
you're
I got a
good.
question for the audience. Have you guys ever seen it where they take lightning rods, put them in the beach, and then the
Oh.
lightning hits the rod and turns the sand to glass?
It makes what is called a fulgurite.
I am
Those
ashamed.
are
nerd.
so cool.
I am ashamed to say that I had not found out about that until my wife made me watch a very bad
Movie?
rom-com.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I saw that movie. That's how I
with
found out.
with what's her name? Reese Witherspoon,
Yes,
I think. In it?
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I found out about those.
Yeah, and he meant-
Just as an aside, in Kansas and in Oklahoma, if you have a lightning rod attached to your house, which you should for grounding purposes,
Yeah.
you might want to check it after a while because the house I lived at for a while, the lightning rod essentially melted and formed a little bulb on the ground where it was nicely polished from the lightning,
Oh,
basically vaporizing the metal.
Oh yeah.
So it had a little
Wow.
crack point coming down where it had come down from the rod, and then the
What-
bottom of the rod was.
I've had a
And-
lightning rod for 10 years and never attached it to the house. Sits in the
What was that
backyard.
old saying that the
You know what they call that? A piece of copper.
Yes, yes, yes.
well, the old saying the Catholic Church stopped believing in God when they started putting lightning rods on their churches.
Oh. Okay, lightning rods. Here we're going to completely digress.
No.
Lightning rods in churches.
What?
They built a church in Stoll, Kansas.
And we built this city on rock and roll. Okay,
Listen,
sorry.
a church in Stoll, Kansas. Stoll, Kansas is supposed to be one of the gateways to hell. And the church got struck by lightning and burnt down. This was just 5
He
years
believed
ago.
about the gateway the minute you said Kansas.
Yeah.
No, was that-
Stoll, Kansas is supposed to be a
Yep.
gateway to
Yep.
hell. Okay.
Is this according to the Mormons or this?
No.
No, it's like one of
Super-
supernatural. There's
It
supposed
was
to be,
before
yeah,
Supernatural,
there's
but
supposed
yeah,
to
they
be one
made
of
it
the
famous.
7 gates. There's a hellhound.
Yeah, the other one is in with Buffy in California, right?
No.
That's the Hellmouth. Okay.
No, it's in China,
Riverside.
guarded by pandas.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. The Hellmouth
Okay.
in China went away, and so all the guardians. That's the reason they left,
So
and that's
I've
what's been
completely driven us way off course.
No, it's
No.
easy to do. It's easy to do.
There was never
yeah.
a course.
So now, as long as we're arguing and having discussion, because I know we got conventions to talk about, we got some news to talk about. I definitely want to talk about the Marvel sneak peeks. This is a discussion I want to have with you guys in person. I've
We know
written
you're
down
gay.
some notes.
We know you're gay.
It's okay. I'm proud of it. We can get into it here, but it was the flat Death Star theory.
Oh no.
Have you guys heard the flat Death Star theory?
You,
The flat.
Death Star theory.
you
Well, I
would-
shouldn't say a theory because it's fact, but yeah.
No.
It's flat on the movie screen.
Well, yeah, of course. See, the one good point already. John's on my side. So
But it is
See,
sphere.
you had started to allude to this
Right.
earlier today on a phone conversation, and I was like, save it for the show. And my whole thought is well, It's flat if you look at it from top down because you have each of the individual floors. The Death Star is not set up like an onion. It's set up on floors. Right. So my whole and that led me down the rabbit hole of somewhere there's a top floor that's just kind of really freaking short. And what is in the attic of the Death Star? We already know.
I already know.
We know the swamp creature is down in the basement.
Okay,
What's in the attic?
This is easy.
No, let's hear yours, and then mine will be better. Go ahead. What do you got?
It's IG-88's idiom.
Idiom?
His id. IG-88
Okay.
got downloaded to the Death Star.
Sure.
Yeah. And he was going to use that as a call and call all robots in the galaxy. He was going to use the Death Star as the biggest robot. He was going to lead a robot rebellion and take over the universe.
Which would make sense because it's flat like a giant satellite dish, so you could put the signal out. I could see that, yeah.
Round.
I think it's one of two things in the attic. It would either be Padme, very Norman Bates psycho style, sitting in a chair. Because think about it, you got one of the most powerful beings in all the galaxy. He ain't just letting them bury Padme on
correction.
No,
he had nothing to do with it. The Emperor put Padme up in the attic in order to lord that over him because he had nothing to do with it when he was all getting botted up.
No, I get this.
He was getting all robo borged up. Darth Vader's a Borg. Anyway,
no, he can't because there are no Borgs on the Superior series.
So, well, yeah, there is. Darth Vader.
I was waiting for Sean and Daryl to both come in.
Darth Vader.
Oh yeah. Shoot, yeah. What's his name? That was also in Flash Gordon, from Cloud City, the dude with the little visor thing.
Lobo.
Oh
no, Lobot. Yeah.
Lobot's aboard too.
Well, supposedly Dingar's now aboard too, because Dingar,
I could do Dingar.
He was one of my favorites. They screwed him.
They screwed him when Boba Fett came out too.
Yeah.
I found out the other day why they say it was. It started with the scroll. The scroll first started with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah,
I found out why.
Flash Gordon.
Incorrect.
Well,
the reason why is because apparently the original draft of Star Wars, Star Lord or whatever the hell it was going to be, Star Killer. The original draft was going to have the entire story told from the point of view of R2-D2. All right. And he was reaching the point of planned obsolescence for his droid. And so there was, this was in the story details, is that some alien race was there for him during his last days that he was going to be alive. And so he was relating the story of his life to these aliens. And so that's the reason it started with a long time ago in the galaxy far, far away. But
I get what you're saying. The words of it. Yeah.
In the next series of drafts, they ditched that whole plot line, but they liked that for the intro, for the scroll. So they kept that for the scroll, but they dropped the storyline that it related to.
So
have they though? Because what is the one character that has been in every Star
Wars?
No.
They just didn't do the
R2-D2.
R2. They didn't do it all the way to where he is at his obsolescence with another alien race. That's the part
it
they
hasn't
dropped.
gone that far yet.
And the way that they're fucking up this IP, it never will.
Well,
so I'll point out real quick the reason I said Flash Gordon. So what you're saying is the actual words that were in there, not the scroll, because the actual scroll.
Oh yeah, that's straight. That's come on,
stolen
Lucas
straight, and he even says
so much. He took from Flash Gordon. He took from World War II nose camera footage.
Well, Star Wars
Japanese.
Star Wars was originally supposed to be a Flash Gordon movie, and he couldn't get the rights to it.
Seven Samurai, Flash Gordon, and the Hero's Quest all rolled into one. Is what it was.
And but you got to admit, he did it well.
He did do it well.
And he took like you said, the Hero's Quest.
He just sat around. He read the Hero's Quest.
Isn't there 13 steps in the Hero's Quest?
I think there is.
Okay.
So he's read the Hero's Quest. He watched Seven Samurai and remembered all the old Flash Gordon stuff from when he was a kid. Got baked, wrote this shit out, and that's how the first three movies came.
Yeah,
the middle three movies.
And originally that was going to be just Flash Gordon. He was making Flash Gordon and couldn't get the movie rights. So
there's 12 steps.
All that, yeah, sure.
Is there?
Shouldn't Star Wars then be retitled with your theory in place or fact?
The Plaid Death Star
Solo and the Pizza Pie or Pizza Plate of Doom.
Pizza Plate of Doom. Wow. Well, here's the deal on this flat Death Star theory. I saw a quick video on it, and I was like, oh, that's something we should talk about on the podcast. So I mentioned it to the guys, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to write down a couple facts on it. And I there's not a ton out there, so I wrote down the facts. And as you're writing, it does not take much to bring up the argument of, wait a minute, the Death Star is really fucked up. Like,
Oh, yeah,
how
it
does
is.
it work?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
totally.
The theory behind it is first off, every time you see the Death Star, every movie, everybody else, they're all coming in through the front. Nobody comes in through the back. You never see the back of the Death Star. You never see the side of the Death Star. It's always
That's where
the front where the
exhaust
laser
port's
is.
Yeah, it is.
The exhaust port is. It's
Coming up the back.
always the front where the laser is.
well,
So-
yeah, that's
because
the most
that's the
prominent, and that's the most dramatic.
But it's a
angle.
whole moon worth of shit, and you're always coming in through the same front door. Like people coming
Okay,
in through the
okay.
back
So
fly
I would
all
like-
the way
What's
around.
on
I
the
would
back?
like to.
A curly tail? Wait,
I-
what are we missing?
No,
Nothing.
no.
Just get round.
Listen,
Don't know, 'cause it's-
gentlemen.
yeah.
Real life example. Jupiter. You always look at it from it's always shown from the spot.
The moon.
Well, yeah, that's because that's
The moon is in a
that's the
fixed
spot
orbit.
that's facing us.
Our moon
right?
is in a fixed orbit. We never, from Earth, see the backside of the moon,
You mean the dark side of the moon, which isn't
dark
dark?
side of the moon,
Yeah.
which is actually really shiny when it's facing
Yeah.
the sun.
Oh, dude, have you seen the pictures from the dark side of the moon that they showed? That thing is even more riddled with asteroid impacts than the side that we face.
Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be it's kind of hard to hit it from this side.
It's
No,
odd that
no,
they put
it's
the
really
Nazi
damn
moon
easy.
bases.
The
on
other
back
side, it's
like
easier
that.
to hit.
It's all pretty easy to hit.
Yeah, they keep all the dinosaurs and the Sasquatch in the backside with the two real pandas. So
With the two real pandas.
Oh, okay, there's a fake.
This
so
is-
so
this
now
is-
I'm gonna go through this list, and you guys are gonna tell me. Guys in the audience, chime in too. Debunk this for me, then, okay?
I will.
Here, let me put on my old man glasses here. Death Star is flat.
No,
This the shit that guys actually talk about when we get drunk and talk about stuff. We're like, oh, what if Princess Leia wasn't Luke's sister? That kind of stuff. Just one of the many facts the Empire does not want you to know. First off, all the info we have on the Death Star comes from the Empire. The plans, everything we've had comes from the Empire.
No, a
So-
whole lot of Bothans died.
They
get us
did.
those
To
plans.
get that from who? Who'd they get it from? Not the rebels. They got it from the Empire. They got that information
Okay,
from
so
the Empire.
So you're saying that because the Empire made the plans that were so good that it was able to destroy them, they're not good because they came from the Empire.
Right.
Okay.
100%. So
I just realized what's your-
everybody flies in from one side. We've only ever seen. Has anybody ever seen the back side
Yeah.
or the side of?
yeah,
yeah.
they flew around to the back side where the exhaust ports were.
Not
And you
even
saw
that.
the curvature of the Death Star when they did it.
Death
Oh,
Star
well,
2.
that's a whole nother problem.
Death Star 2. You saw that whole area under
Yes.
construction.
Which I'll
was-
get to. I'll get to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll get to that part too. I'll get to that part too.
And
They
the plan-
started with
every
the laser
So-
on them.
plan shows us the fear.
Well,
even the
How can you fly to the core? Okay.
Okay.
How can you fly to the
Okay,
core?
I
of
can only
something
address
flat?
one at a time, guys.
Come on.
So no, okay. First off, every plan. Again, the plans we get from the Empire. So we have no pictures. Everything we've all seen is either a reproductive globe, just like if you say the Earth is flat, that we get a globe that is, or it comes straight from the Empire,
I will challenge you even worse.
right?
All of this stuff that comes from the Empire, that all came from a fat old guy named George.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's, we're getting a little third wally there, but okay. So what about we've all only ever seen the front side with the gun on it? I mean, literally, have we in the movies or anything
Yeah.
ever seen? Where,
Yeah.
when?
When they're flying along the surface of it.
Okay, well, now first off, we're seeing the surface of a nice flat
No,
disc.
it's
Yeah,
got a
oh yeah,
curve
oh
on it.
yeah, and it is round on the outside.
It's got
like
a curve
quarter.
on it because as they fly up to the towers are down low,
Right.
and then you start to see more tower, and then the tower gets bigger.
That's a fair argument, but wrong. So, real quick, let Sean chime in, then I'll get to my retaliation on it.
I
Really.
want to point out
Now-
Return of the
hang
Jedi,
on.
a certain superstar destroyer crashes into the Death Star.
Yeah.
And there's a curvature that you can see. It's not.
But that's the second Death Star. That's a different. We have like we've had 6 fucking Death Stars. Come on, I'm talking the original Death Star, guys. Don't fuck this up for me.
Were we splitting hairs again?
No. These are good arguments. First off, on flying along the surface. So one of the arguments that's put out there for that is they are shooting lasers out of their X-wings. When you shoot a laser in space, it should go straight and continue to go until it hits something or dissipates, right?
Right.
Incorrect.
So no, okay.
Incorrect, because you still are dealing with the gravity well.
I was
so
just
there
gonna
will
say-
be gravity lensing happening around the gravity well
So
of that
so
moon.
laser
Now, and
is
if-
affected by gravity.
Yes,
Light
all
can be
light is.
affected
I'm
by
asking.
gravity.
I'm
Light
asking.
is
I don't know.
affected by it.
Okay.
Black hole.
No, I haven't seen a black hole, but I've seen the
Yeah,
effects
but
of a
you
black
know it
hole.
affects light.
That's another argument we've had on
So
here
that
too. But
light
yeah,
cannot
no, yeah, they do have a photo of a black hole now, don't they? Like 2 years ago or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that researcher, she did a whole lot of work to get that. I
Yeah.
mean, very proud of her. She deserved everything she got.
So then that brings us to the gravity portion of the amount.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not gonna go
gravity.
down
I
through
see.
here, but-
That's the thing I've always been, think about. If the Death Star was actually layered like an onion, it would make more sense gravity wise.
It would make more sense
But-
construction wise as well. But yeah,
At one point, I remember it was a long time ago. I was really, really bored.
it wasn't far away.
It was in a very bored Daryl, far, far away. I had sat down and figured out what the basic density of the Death Star is, so I could figure out what the surface gravity would
You're
be.
lying, dude.
No, I did.
I
I did.
oddly believe this too.
I did. I matter of fact, I posted it up on Facebook. But this was like, God, this is back when Gannon was just a baby. It was back when I had air care.
So
I was
it's like
sitting there
15
bored in air
years
care
ago.
because we
Yeah.
had, no business. But yeah, I figured it out, and according to my numbers, according to the density of the metal, and I just took basic steel, all right, as the metal, all right, and I took at a 10% density because the rest of it's going to be open
Hollow.
corridors and stuff like that, and the size of the Death Star, the actual gravity of the Death Star was quite considerable surface gravity. So for them to have layered levels like we, conceptualize that they have, they would have totally been messing around with the whole gravity thing going on there.
So-
That would have been really weird on the whole gravity.
And
So
how do
in-
you
in
know
some
it wasn't layered like an onion? Because
Well, because
It did have a
we've seen
core
these
to it.
maps from the
Because-
Empire.
Look when the Millennium Falcon comes in.
Well, look at when it's
system.
being built too. You actually see the levels in there.
Yeah.
And almost every toy and stuff shows it as levels.
Well, that's
Yeah, and we
Okay,
all know
okay,
that
okay.
Kenner, well, they got all their information from the Empire too.
We don't know that. But seriously, I do wonder how the gravity works in the Death Star. Because if it is all levels like that, is there artificial gravity at the very south pole of this moon? Or how does gravity work on this then? Huh?
gravity plate.
Gravity plates. So the outside
Same thing they use
exterior
on-
or what?
The same thing they use on the big battle cruisers.
Okay. And I can see that because it sits flat.
And they're all
Those
flat.
So like the Star Destroyers, they sit flat like the flat Death Star does. So you got the flat that makes sense in that sense. But when you have something that's the size of a moon, and I'm seriously asking this part, not like as a conspiracy thing, but so if all the gravity is at the bottom of the Death Star, and there's gravity plates, so what are the plates on every floor?
Yep.
So every floor has its own separate gravity, and then the exterior of it has its own separate gravity as well. And then just generally, anything that large floating through space creates its own gravitational pull as well.
Yeah.
So you have all these gravitational pulls working
Fighting
against each other. That sounds like a bad design. I
Oh,
mean,
it was totally.
but if you had a nice flat thing such as a Star Destroyer, that makes sense gravity wise, right?
Until you accelerate,
Till you accelerate.
and then everybody goes sliding backwards towards the end of the show.
My brains are going into my feet.
I'm going to start having a lot more Star Wars gravity questions. Okay, I mean, we're already spending way too much time on this, so let me go through real quick and just part of the conspiracy is that the Empire is already full of tons of conspiracies. The leader is secretly a Sith Lord. Episodes 1 through 3 were nothing but a political conspiracy drama.
Darth Jar Jar.
He literally has warehouses
so.
full. The
So
Emperor
much.
has warehouses full of clones of himself. There is tons of conspiracy already.
I'm not
So-
sure if that was hubris or was that his kink.
His king. Let's see. Well, and the Emperor the whole time knew Luke was Vader's son and didn't say shit. So yeah. tons
Well,
of
let's talk
conspiracy.
about Obi-Wan.
Well, yeah. I'm talking about the Empire's conspiracies, though. Center of gravity is a big problem. Why are the floors flat and not curved?
Next thing I'm going to hear you say is sound in space, and stormtroopers can't shoot. No,
They were told to miss.
They were.
There's also the theory, of
Yeah.
course, they missed because the Force was on their side and it was causing them to miss.
No, they missed because Vader told them to miss,
Right.
so that the heroes could escape the Death Star because they put a tracker on the Millennium Falcon so they could find a rebel base, take the Death Star. Who knows how they got it there? But take it to the rebel base to blow it up.
But you only described 1 out of 9 movies of them missing.
First, they
So
stopped
it's-
off at the same gas station that Lone Star did and filled up the Death Star.
They never got another memo indicating they should search
Yeah,
anything.
exactly.
Okay, all the fucking every bridge, every walkway, everything in there.
Okay, don't you remember when Obi-Wan is burning all the damn Jawas at the Jawa Sandcrawler, right? And he says, "See these footprints here?
Oh no, you're back on the
They're not-
stormtrooper
they're-
shooting
yeah,
straight thing.
that-
No,
not-
Okay,
Not
now,
sand people.
now the
They're all
bridges.
traveling in single file, and
I
these shots way too accurate for sand
I'm
people.
totally behind
It
that.
must have been stormtroopers.
I'm totally
And those
behind
sand
that he
people can hit a
told them
pod
not to.
racer.
They can.
All right.
Yeah, no, I'm
now-
not. The stormtrooper shooting theory. That's a whole. That's
Now the bridges and the open areas in the Death Star, I heard a reason for that as well. Is
I
that-
heard a good argument for it. So go ahead.
that the one of the alien races doing the construction
Correct.
or winged alien race, and they were using those as pathways to fly up and down.
Which we did see that in Rogue One that
Yep.
they talked, and that makes complete sense as to why.
Those little
there's
flying
these-
dudes that
yeah.
made the robots
Yeah, but then the other thing is if
in
there's
Clone Wars.
a lot of the railing and
the
stuff that
Force
you see,
doesn't
there's
work on us, Jedi.
Yeah.
there is no railing and stuff, and the theory is because there's not really far to fall because it's all fucking flat, and they're just using mirrors to make it look like there's shit to swing over and stuff. It's a fair
It can
enough
be
argument.
flat, but with layers.
But why the fuck wouldn't you have rails for
See,
stormtroopers
no,
and
see,
everybody else?
that's my thought. Is I believe that you're right with flat because the way it's laid out, it's not laid out like an onion. It's laid out in layers like this, so it is flat. It's just really tall, lots of layers,
Okay,
curved layers.
That make it glow.
into a ball.
Yeah, they make it sphere.
Hey,
Okay,
no,
any-
it's 2 domes.
Anything that big traveling through space has that many ships going in and out of it and shit, it should
It's a
have.
whore. What?
If it's round, it should have its own shit orbiting around it. Debris, trash, space
Yeah,
parts.
but the thing
all
can
that
go.
stuff.
The thing can move at light speed. I mean, it has. To be
No,
able
no,
to.
the
Then how come it didn't take years to get from where they were?
It did travel.
Yeah, it had to.
does this
Yeah,
does
they didn't
Yes.
build it right outside the rebel base. They,
No,
yeah,
I know that.
They didn't just happen to build it in the same system that the rebel base was in.
Yeah.
I thought that was part of the whole idea.
No,
in
no.
the first couple
No.
movies is why they could only go to certain areas because they couldn't move.
they
as
blew up
fast.
Dantooine. Remember?
No,
And
they didn't
Alderaan.
blow up.
They
Dantooine.
blew
They
up Alderaan.
All Alderaan.
Which that was a whole nother conspiracy because you know Princess Leia being the only survivor of the royal family, the insurance money she got to fund the rebels off of her whole planet blowing up. That's a whole nother fucking thing.
Yeah, but we're
let's not-
talking about insurance companies, so they had a lifetime cap.
Yeah.
She got $28 in a pizza.
Right.
And if you were
And
gonna
droids. and a
if you were
couple
gonna
droids.
build a giant gun the size of a planet, why would you have the gun only fixable to one spot on this whole globe?
Because
it's a globe, it can move.
Okay,
It's
so
a
if
turret.
it can move,
It's a turret.
if it can move, then why is it always the same spot in one of the top 3/4 sections
Because
of it?
that's where they put the camera. It's not always in the same spot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not about the.
The
It's not about
selfie
that.
arm that
It's about
sticks
the
out the side of it.
cinematographer.
Right.
It's the cinematographer's fault.
Yeah. How do you know where that camera is actually positioned in the universe?
I should have realized I could have answered all these with it was a movie.
And
What'd you have,
pause
Sean?
it that you need to watch Rogue One because you can see the pizza pie or pizza plate of doom rotate.
You can, damn it, that's
And
right.
then it turns down and goes, hey, you know what? That's a really nice city you have there. Let me show you what can happen when this laser hits it. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah. Let's see. I want to make sure there's no other because a lot of these others were like how Ewoks are actually droids built by
No,
the Empire. but-
Ewoks are some evil little sons of bitches.
They're
They-
larva Wookiees.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
They're
man,
part of the conspiracy too, man.
Yeah,
Secret
have-
base on Endor. I mean,
yeah.
think
Has
about it.
everybody forgot the fact that they were going to eat our heroes?
No,
They ate everybody.
Yeah.
They ate the
That's scary.
stormtroopers. Yeah.
Well, and there's always the story of where
and then
did
they have a
Princess
big
Oh,
feast, and
hey,
Leia's like
nobody
eating
wants to talk
chicken on a
about.
stick that ain't chicken on a stick. You know?
Nobody wants to talk about where they got the dress
for
for
Princess
Leia.
Leia.
Yeah,
They
no
didn't sew
kidding.
that shit.
Yeah, they didn't sew that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was last Sunday's lunch.
What was the TV movie Caravan of Terror or something?
Yeah.
It was the Caravan of something. It's one of those survivors off this, or not survivors off of the
Yeah,
ship.
it was-
But all right, so I learned when we get into cryptid shit and stuff later in conspiracy theory, this is gonna go like fucking.
We're gonna have fun.
It's gonna go so smooth.
We're
It's
gonna
gonna be
have
so
fun.
easy. Damn it.
What'd you say?
It
Oh,
was, yeah,
right.
yeah.
I don't even think the real.
You're assuming that
I,
there's
I got a
rails.
feeling Cookie's gonna go, hey guys, I found a ghost hunter. We're gonna talk about this. And the whole time we're just gonna sit here and go, ghosts? Tell me all about these ghosts of yours. And we're just gonna fuck
No,
with
you
in
need to
front
bring
of
in. You need to bring in your toy trap and ask them how many can fit.
How many- I know all about ghosts. I've seen all the movies. Yeah.
Yeah, I might Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
I'll bring in Dustbuster. It's the same thing.
Actually, I might just come sit with you in the audience and watch Tim up here try to struggle, and I'll be the heckler in the audience.
No,
going,
no, 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 no,
Ghosts
no, no,
aren't
no,
real.
no.
No, because I'd be one of those guys up there.
Oh,
asking me fucking stupid
Kelly
questions.
wanted to know what 3D printers you guys recommend. Somebody else's.
The one I was telling you about, Kelly, it's the damn it, help me out here.
Which
Daryl.
one?
The
Creality?
one I got, the Creality.
Creality Ender 3 SE Creality Ender 3 V3 SE. Although I wouldn't suggest that one now. Now I would suggest something a little bit better because the Ender 3 V3 SE was good 2 years ago, but now it's really showing its legs and it doesn't have, Wi-Fi integration on it. So I would go with, something else. I mean, if you wanted something ease, I would go the Bamboo A1.
I haven't looked into Bamboo much. I'll say one thing is a lot of people will recommend a lot of multicolored printers and stuff for what you're wanting to do. I think a single color cheap thing to get started on is a good way to go. You don't want to jump in too deep because I'm so glad I didn't jump in deep and just start doing all these more expensive printers because I had to learn how to start. I'm still struggling with learning how to work on mine and do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not one of those things you want to go like, oh, everything's just going to operate fine and be within 6 months, something will go wrong. And you're going to be debating whether I want to keep doing this to fix it or just replace it.
I'm baiting.
I'm baiting.
I just got to ask Kelly. I mean, what kind of ADHD medication are you on for the conversation
Oh, no,
that
no,
we
no.
had?
No, that
That's
was a
been
while
sitting there
ago.
for a little while.
Wait,
I was
that,
gonna say,
that
where
came
do you
on-
get 3D printers?
that came on
Shit,
like
bro.
30 minutes ago.
Yeah, we're just trying to keep up with the
No, I mean, and even Bamboo, everybody says, go with Bamboo because Bamboo is, and it is. When their stuff works, it is tight. It works really good. They have a great, community and their Maker World online. Some great files on there. But just like every other, they'll have their problems. And I see it. It's funny because all the forums you always get trolls in the forums, and there's always somebody who, whenever somebody posts a problem on like the Creality group or the Anycubic group, there's always somebody that comes in and goes, "Well, you should get a Bamboo." And so there's always the Bamboo fanboys, but then there's the people who will respond to them and go, "You know what? I have a Bamboo too, and I'm on the Bamboo forums." And there's just as many people complaining about issues on the Bamboo forums. So don't think that there's any printer that's going to be perfect. There's not. The question, the reason I suggest something like the Creality or the Anycubic first instead of the Bamboo is because they have been not the best for so long that you have a huge group around them that know how to fix them. The Bamboo, they don't really have that much of people being able to fix them. It's always, send it back. It's under warranty, send it back kind of stuff.
And before we get off that, the last thing I'll say on it is just that one thing a lot of people will tell you is, oh, you hop on and buy one for $50 in Marketplace and start with that. Don't do that. Do not do that. You're going to
No.
regret it. So
Unless you really want to learn how to repair something.
All
There's a reason it's on Marketplace, and it's never because it was too good for me.
I know we got started like 2 minutes late, but we are running way over on time.
We are.
I have a few things to talk about here yet. But
Again?
well, no, I mean,
No, okay.
but if you got something to talk about now, might be a good time because I wanna
Okay,
hit these.
tomorrow Nintendo Switch 2 launches. All right. Doctor Who Series 15 concluded on May 31st with a dramatic regeneration twist, marking the end of this Doctor. And at the end of it, I looked it up. The Doctor appears to regenerate into a form resembling his previous companion, Rose Tyler.
we were talking
Oh,
about that
cool.
before the show. I was going to ask you
Wow.
about it too, and because I've not been watching, but I saw that and it's like, damn it, I kind of want to watch again. But
Let me see. Marvel is skipping Comic-Con Hall H this year. They will not participate in Hall H at this year's Comic-Con, citing delays in upcoming film releases.
yeah, that'll fit in with some of my stuff because they did that a couple of years ago too, and Marvel is just not confident with what they're putting out right now. It's
George R.R. Martin halts Winds of Winter. Martin announced he will not be completing Winds of Winter, expressing frustration over ongoing fan complaints. So it's not going to end.
That's the last book.
Yeah, that's the last book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd heard that before where he was saying that, where that was a big problem.
And now he's come out and say
it already ends though. Didn't they write an incredible ending for the TV show? I thought
complete with
It was.
Starbucks
That's
cups
what
on the table.
Yeah, it was horrible, man.
No, I didn't watch the last season just
It was.
because everybody else it went to me
It
and
went
goes,
from
John, just don't.
Great to shit.
Yeah, you can tell the writing
when they
went
got
downhill.
to where when they got up to the point to where they had caught up with his writing, it just went because those two directors took over and wrote.
See, and it's hard.
Advised ending, they called it.
It's hard to know, man, because like when I talk to like you guys and stuff, I can go, okay, yeah, you get real, but man, watching YouTube channels and shit anymore, trying to get reviews on movies, series, everybody. That was part of my festival fatigue thing I was going to talk about, but everybody's so negative on everything. It's
Yeah, it
just,
is.
it just sucks. Hey, I'll get more clicks if I say it sucks. I'll get more, and then that way, if it doesn't suck, well, then you were just pleasantly wrong. But if you say it's good and it does suck, then everybody goes, you don't know what you're talking about. So everybody just says it sucks across the board. So you can't get any good reviews anymore.
It pays to be negative on YouTube.
Yeah.
It does.
You know,
It
and
gets the
that's
clicks.
sad.
And that's one of the reasons that I endeavor for us to not be as negative as well we could be.
Well, it could
We
be.
are
I mean, if you
some-
guys would have went along with my damn flat Death Star series, we've been done in 2 seconds, everybody would have agreed and I'd be happy. But instead,
It is flat. With many layers.
layers stacked on top of each other. Okay. Sorry.
But like a cake that gets rounder. I mean, domed. Yeah. Let me see. 2 more stories. One, this is I found interesting. Everyone's favorite April Buddy, the IRS, has open sourced its direct file tax software. This comes as the program faces potential shutdowns from lobbying by Intuit and other groups like, TurboTax and H&R Block. They have lobbied to get the free tax stuff shut down so that everybody has to use them. And I think it's just horrible. Lobbying from them and provisions in the new government budget bill. Several key developers behind the direct file are now said to be exploring free, streamlined tax filing through the Economic Security Project's new fellowship. And I mean, even though the whole program was successful, last year 450,000 Americans used direct file to file their taxes. But anyways, then the final story, the one that I thought was super freaking cool.
Well, I'm not meaning you have to rush through this stuff. I was just
That's okay. No, because this one I wanted to get to nanoparticles.
Oh boy. Here
Oh,
we
just
go.
like in the Marvel movies. All right,
Yeah.
I'm all about it. Let's do
All right,
this.
but this is for real.
Nanoparticles with AI, right?
No,
Oh yeah,
No.
because I'm so tired of putting on my spandex. I just want nano,
Yeah.
just like every movie.
contact lenses.
Oh,
Hold on. Humans can now see in the dark even with their eyes closed using nanotechnology contact lenses that turn invisible infrared light into visible images, according to a new study published in the journal Cell. After first testing in mice, scientists from China and the University of Massachusetts Medical School created contact lenses for humans infused with specialized nanoparticles thousands of times smaller than a grain of sand to let people see in the dark and foggy conditions. These nanoparticles are scattered throughout the soft lens material where they absorb infrared light and convert it into images the human eye normally can't see. When wearing them, you see everything normally. The lenses simply add the ability to see infrared images on top of what we already normally see. Wearing the lenses, participants are able to recognize coded flashes of infrared light similar to Morse code, identify basic shapes and patterns, and even distinguish colors in the infrared range, effectively adding a new dimension to human vision. They could even perceive the images with their eyes closed thanks to the ability of infrared light to pass through the eyelids. What's special about
I
our
know
contact
that's where I'm at with
yeah.
it.
What's special about the contact lenses is they let you see infrared light in color, like red, blue, and green, because they're able to do different wavelengths and have it do different colors for the different
Right.
wavelengths of infrared, and then superimpose that, into your vision, because it will redirect that color up in the wavelength, so it goes out of the infrared into the visible spectrum, which I think is from what is it, like 370 to 4, whatever it is.
I was about ready to agree, even though I didn't know.
Yeah,
I was going to sit here like, yeah, that's it.
But I think that is super
I know
cool.
it's the rainbow colors because those are the ones I see.
And one of the things I saw is that currently, even though they haven't gone into mass production, all right, but currently one of the things I heard had the cost per lens right now at $200 a lens, which is astronomically cheap when
That's
you think about
affordable.
it.
That's not near
Because
it.
if that's what they come out at, within a year they'll be down to $60 a lens.
And you think about it, get those also with corrective vision. But think about it for military, first responders.
Man, for
Doctors.
military, if they're telling you this on the internet now, they've been doing it since the 70s,
I
bro.
wonder how that affects colorblind.
That was another thing as well.
Oh,
They
wow.
said that
How
it
it affects
allowed them
colorblind people?
because it added color. They could get it to where for the wavelengths that people couldn't see because of colorblind. And trust me, that perked up my ears because my boy's colorblind, like really. It will allow them to see some colors as well with the colorblind. It was interesting on that aspect.
That, to me, that would be actually really cool. I've always wondered all the colors, especially like you used to dive. When you dive, all the colors we don't see that are actually there in the
Mhm.
reef and stuff, that fish react to, and they know that certain animals can see certain colors we have no way of perceiving.
It seems weird that we'd be seeing colors that we can't
Perceive.
perceive.
Yeah,
So would we be seeing them or not? I guess. I mean, just because
because
those colors are there now and we're not perceiving them.
it would
No.
be altered so that we could see it. I mean, there would be the pattern of whatever that color was doing. There would be the
Yeah.
pattern, and we would be able to see that pattern. Like
I guess
so
John's right, like a
basically the-
camera. Or,
So
yeah.
basically, the lens would see the wavelength of the colors we can't see and translate into something we can.
right.
So,
It did take me a minute because when you first read that, you're like, oh, you could see in the dark, even with your eyes closed. And the first thing in my head, because even John said, like, was sleeping and shit. And
Yeah,
I'm
well-
like, somebody somewhere went, ooh, what if we could see in the dark? Wait a minute. Even with our eyes closed, that sounds like torture to me.
Yeah, this
you
is
know?
not going to be one of those lenses you wear for a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was super cool, and the fact that they started off with mouse trials, and they've already moved to human trials, and they've used it on humans, and humans were able to see stuff that they would not normally be able to see, like an infrared light and stuff like that.
and now here we are with ghost hunting again. Are we going to be able to see shit that everybody has said has always been there, but
Yeah, we're just gonna
Yeah,
put the lenses in, and all of a sudden
start
there's
seeing
like
ghosts and shit?
it'll be just like Haunted Mansion at Disney. Like all
Yeah.
the chairs fill with just
Yeah.
ghosts real quick.
It'll be interesting.
It'll
That'd
be
all that.
interesting.
Look, there's Derek all of a sudden. It's
Yeah,
just
he
like-
was.
You missed the whole show, man.
But anyways, that was the last thing I had.
No, that's super awesome, interesting. But you want to go like I feel like there's a million things that it would be good for, and my mind just goes right to what's that good for? It's like I'm trying to think like firefighters maybe seeing in the dark and
Military,
stuff,
I could see
military,
uses of it.
that kind of stuff. But for people like us, is that a game changer?
I don't know. See, you're thinking of it as us as people who normally are around where there is artificial lighting.
Yeah.
But think about it like maybe you went out, hiking and camping, and you wanted to extend your time that you could go hiking and camping and not have to be flashing around a flashlight. You would be able to go past, dusk.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I could
still
see.
be able to see stuff. Oh, and think about it for hunting.
Think
Yeah,
about it
like
for
to see that.
spelunkers.
I was just thinking for like the average person, like for specialty stuff, sure, but like is there anybody in this room? And I'm asking generally. I'm not trying to be criticizing them. Like
Daryl's
I'm trying
about
to
to
think
say
there's
some
something that
shit.
one of us in this room would go like, oh, I got to go get me a pair of those because it would help so much with.
Spelunking.
It would help with rock hunting because if you're looking for things that have a heat source,
There you go.
Or
radioactive rocks will actually
Right.
glow.
or a
Yeah.
lot
That kind of stuff. Yeah, that's
a
what I was-
lot of astronomy is dealing with with images that are in the infrared spectrum, the infrared telescopes and stuff like that. It would be so good to be able to, just by putting in a contact lens, turn your telescope from a normal telescope into an infrared telescope.
It'd be
Or I can
hell
buy
on
an
night
infrared
vision goggles, so
telescope.
they'll go out of
It would
business.
be a niche.
Eric,
Getting up at night, know how to turn the light on.
fair enough, but not having to
Yeah.
open your eyes either.
I'm still sleeping. I'm not sleepwalking.
I wouldn't pee in the laundry hamper anymore.
not.
Oh, that's just too many.
Yeah, well,
I could actually keep an eye on Big and at the hook. Many people don't know this, but so many times on the road doing shows, Big and after a whole
Would
day.
pee in a laundry basket?
Yeah, all the time. No, his hips. We were talking about this earlier. Hips would hurt and stuff at the fair and stuff. So I would be trying to get sleep to get up to go to the festival the next day, and you'll wake up at like 3 a.m. and there's Biggin just sitting on the next bed, just leaning over, staring at you because he's in pain.
Mhm.
But when you wake up and that's what you see, it's intimidating as fuck. And I could keep an eye on him, just like out the corner of my eye.
No, not out the corner of your eye. With your
Straight
eyes
on.
closed.
Yeah, straight on. Yeah. That's when I'd see him pleasuring himself in the middle of the night and be like, I can't close my eyes.
It's getting warmer. It's getting warmer. There's friction. Yeah.
It's not gonna be like one of those how they used to have the old night vision cameras that could all of a sudden see through
Clothes and stuff. It honestly, it's going to be so low tech. You'll be watching like Skinamax when we were 17 or something. It'll be like I can kind of make out there's a boob there. I think that's Biggin over there. I'm not, yeah. All right.
See Biggin's
We-
next to the boob.
We've already we've hit an hour, and I got to go through the festivals coming up this month real quick. But
Yeah.
let me hit just. I told Kelly I was going to talk about Highlander today, but I'm not. I'll just casually mention because my wife said, "Yeah, let everybody know this." Because Sydney Sweeney's selling her dirty bathwater. I'm sure you guys have seen that.
No, even worse.
It's in the soap, in the Sasquatch soap.
Yep.
It's one
Now,
of those.
here's my thing. I have seen this story. Who's Sydney Sweeney?
Okay, so she's an actress. She got big in, what was it, White Lotus or something? I haven't seen, but she came out in Madam Web. Okay, she's boobs. That's what she is. She has great cleavage with acting ability, and she's in a lot of stuff right now. That's
White
pretty much
Lotus
it.
was really good.
I don't know if it was White Lotus. It's some TV show she got famous in, and she's like one of the it girls right now. But it seems like everything that they promote her with is her.
Yeah, it looks like
It's
she's
a-
trying to go the Christina Hendricks route.
I don't know, Christina.
Oh, that's
Hendricks.
her.
Yeah, that's Sydney Sweeney.
Okay, yeah. I
Christina
know who that
Hendricks is Mrs. Reynolds.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Miss Reynolds from Firefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget about that. I shouldn't have said that like that because my wife will watch tonight. She's a redhead. It's okay. It's the only reason, honey. So let me see. Some of this other stuff we can talk about another day. Next week on Wednesday, I haven't talked to you about this yet. We will probably be having the director for the Topeka Renaissance Festival on.
Excellent.
We're going to talk about all the stuff coming up. It's the first year event, so we're going to talk about what she had to go through to get a Ren Fair started from scratch.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, some people, because we talked about it on the phone a little bit today, and she had to jump through a lot of hoops that I didn't have to jump through when I started, but also there are a lot of hoops I had to jump through that she could just bypass completely. So
Mhm.
I think it would be a nice little, I'll learn something I know. And there,
And don't forget, before then, this weekend is going to be McConnell Con.
right? Yeah, I was going to go through all those
I'm
right at
sorry.
the end. You're
Okay,
right.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, I just want to mention we do have a lot of future guests. I got Bill Messino signed up this week for doing. If anybody knows Bill Messino from Three Pints Gone,
Oh yeah.
he's
Bill.
going to be joining us from Wisconsin here next month. We got I probably got about 10 guests lined up
Nice.
for coming up here soon. So we'll in between festivals because every once in a while we'll have to focus. This month we have festivals all week, so we're going to be doing interviews from those. I did want to kind of hit because we've had advanced screenings of Fantastic Four and Ironheart in the last week. Fantastic Four is the big one we talked about last week with John Pick on here. That I really wanted to see. I still want to see it. The screenings are not great, unfortunately. And it's kind of like I was saying, where every YouTuber out there is trying to get clout, just bashing stuff. Unfortunately, one of the problems I had with both Ironheart and Fantastic Four is those things were developed during the Me Too movements. So when they did put woke stuff in there, and there's such an anti-woke movement now, people are just hitting it hard. The theory behind Fantastic Four being a Sue Storm movie looks like that's confirmed. Reed Richards is not being used very well in it, so they're already talking reshoots for the movie. More like re-edits, I guess, is what they're talking about. And Ironheart is only doing re-edits because they've done 3 advanced screenings now, and with every advanced screening, the reviews have gotten worse and worse. To where Marvel is releasing it this month with, and I bet most people haven't seen, they've released a trailer, and that's about it. They haven't released any fanfare. Huh?
I've seen the trailer.
Yeah, and they've rewritten the ending 3 times now. Everybody's just kind of done with it. I didn't have high hopes for Ironheart anyway, but the problem is Fantastic Four is kind of the new flagship for Marvel going forward. So I'm really hoping that they're able to fix that and
I
and
think
get it back on
Thunderbolt
track.
should be. I've heard nothing but good about.
I've heard good and bad, and it's hard to know. Has anybody here seen Thunderbolts yet? What do you guys think?
I liked it.
You guys liked it?
It was
I
good.
mean, there was obviously there's always a little, but most of it was very entertaining.
I don't think we're ever going to get what we got before, where like we go in and watch like an Avengers movie and we're like, oh, cool. Did you see this thing that we got that we never got before? Like this cameo from this character, or they pulled this character out of obscurity. I think we've had so much of that now that even though they're still
we're
putting
jaded.
out, we're jaded now where we're like, give us something cooler, give us something bigger, something
It's
better.
a good tongue in cheek, basically, as I see it. Because
Are you talking Thunderbolts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the Red Guardian. Or whatever
Yeah.
his name is.
My favorite
But
character.
he's always. It was funny. It was good. And there was even a heartwarming part with him and his daughter.
Then
Yeah.
So
Pedro Pascal won't. Oh, okay. Kelly says Pedro won't. Is there problems with Pedro saying stuff about the film, or I don't know?
Or is he's I don't think he's well known for like letting stuff out, like
Spoilers.
spoilers like Spider-Man.
Well, supposedly, and we were talking about this in the car on the way up here, is we were talking about how Marvel's losing money right now, and they're kind of restructuring their stuff. They haven't had a profitable movie since No Way Home, according to Marvel. Everything has not been profitable since then.
Deadpool.
Deadpool and Wolverine probably has been, but
Yeah.
that was not part of the article I read. But yeah, it was nothing that had been. And a matter of fact, the two shows that they had that have done well since then, including TV shows, have been nostalgic ones, which was Deadpool and Wolverine, and I can't remember the other one. It was Spider-Man: No Way Home, because most people weren't rooting for Marvel at that point. They were just rooting for all the old Tobey Maguire
Yeah.
Spider-Man kind of. It was that
Andrew
retro.
Garfield.
And that's when people got excited, is when we got this like Wolverine in the yellow suit. We're excited. The stuff people have been asking for years, and then those do well. And then other stuff like Thunderbolts. I don't know anybody. I like Thunderbolts. I don't know anybody was asking for a Thunderbolts movie. It's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy. They just kind of give it to you.
Yeah, which that's another good set of movies.
Yeah.
And what I like most about them is they aren't all woke. They aren't all got to make something super special. They're a lot, well, not Guardians so much like the comic books, but they give all the cameos from different peoples in the comic books. I mean, I really liked Guardians. I really liked Thunderbolts is something I'm really looking forward to seeing. They're
Well,
they're different. They're not.
with Thunderbolts and Guardians, I think one of the things they did is they actually took some characters in the comics that were characters,
Right.
and they made them a little better. They made them like, that you gave that character more depth instead of taking away some character development from some of these old legacy characters. They're able to give you characters nobody knows about, and we can appreciate them.
Right.
DC, I always say with Peacemaker. Peacemaker is a piece of shit character in the
Oh,
comics.
but dude,
but
I'm
man, in the
looking
TV
forward to
show,
the second
yeah.
series,
I'm all about
second
it.
season.
The big thing with Fantastic Four that is all of the news, and I'd almost want to be this guy because he could get on podcasts and YouTube channels like crazy, is one guy in the advanced screening when it was done just stood up and just yelled mid and walked out. And that has been the review. It is on like every Marvel news station. It is everywhere. I would love to find this guy because his review is what is shaping up a multi-million-dollar corporation's view of this movie. If that makes sense.
That makes sense, but part of me worries now since he's gotten so much,
Nobody knows who he is.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. This means that there's going to be other people trying to copy.
Yes, I didn't think of that.
I mean, just people are just going to do that because humans think, oh, somebody else did it and that's cool, so I'm going to do it too. Yeah.
The thing I liked about the Avengers was they came out with movies for each of the individual people in the Avengers before. So they were, to us, they were all individuals, and then the Avengers became a group of individuals instead of a group that's already there.
And
Because of the Fantastic Four, you can basically say is like one superhero. Without each other, they ain't shit.
Well,
You know?
Well, I don't know. Ben Grimm's a badass.
Ben
Mr.
Grimm-
Fantastic should be showcased.
But-
he's-
No,
You know,
no.
I feel the same way about what was that one, the horrible one, the Eternals.
Oh, that was horrible.
Oh my, yeah. Oh, they did not have time to make me care about a single one of those characters. I
Right.
did not care about a
Right.
single one because they introduced them all at once, and I was supposed to immediately care about them.
Right.
In
I had no
fairness,
idea
for
where the
any
hell they
comic
were.
fans in the room, I don't know, I might be speaking out my ass here, but most comic fans I know never liked the Eternals to begin with. There, thank you, Eric, because that's the best thing of the Eternals back before those movies even came out was, oh, Peter Parker cameoed in this issue or that kind of stuff. That's why they were worth money. Nobody gave a shit about them other than that. And not that they weren't bad, but same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy, though. I will be honest, before Guardians of the Galaxy movie came out, you could pick up Star-Lord's first appearance for $20. You could pick up, yeah.
I'll just say that one of the things about the Eternals back in the 70s was that the people who collected it mainly were the same people who liked collecting Commanding, because the artists were the same people.
That like, commanding, yeah. I
mean,
can see that.
You have that. You have the really strong, you know.
In fairness, though, back in the day, you could pick up those Commandy comics at 25 cents a pop, you know.
But you know where I'm coming
Yeah, I
from.
know where you're coming from. All right, let's see. Sorry.
What said about Pedro, he's bashing most of his audience, not as bad as Rachel Ziegler, but it's getting close.
I know
Oh,
the,
he did the same shit in The Mandalorian, though. I mean, I'm really disappointed in that dude.
part of the problem with the Fantastic Four thing, and I love Pedro Pascal, is if anybody followed it before, Pedro Pascal was not the first choice. He was like number 9 or 10 down the list. They had cast, recast, tried, and come to find out now, and this might be why Pedro's doing that, because he's getting a lot of backlash online, because everybody's like, oh, now that they've seen the movie, they're like, that's why he took it. Or that's why nobody else took it, because Mr. Fantastic is so underutilized in the movie that nobody wanted to play second fiddle, you know, especially with as big a character as Reed Richards is in the Marvel Universe, that they didn't want to play second fiddle. Now, I'm personally okay with them making it a Sue Storm movie, because Sue Storm's a great character, but in doing that, they need to at least highlight the other characters, because they're all great characters. And so people are pretty much saying Pedro Pascal is simping for Marvel right now.
Well, you know what? If
that
they
might be
paid
it.
me as much as they paid him, I'd simp like a mofo.
I'd be fine
I
with it.
would. I
Yeah.
would. I admit it. The problem is not that I'm for sale. The problem is that I go for so cheap.
Yeah, I was gonna say I am for sale. So yeah,
One Bitcoin.
yeah.
Yeah.
You have a
Anymore?
little
Yeah.
sticker on you somewhere.
Yeah. Mark me up like NASCAR. I mean,
I'll play Reed Richards. I'm at the age now where you can just dye all the hair but the silver spots. I can do that, yeah. All right. So that I wanted to touch base on it because it is part of a bigger story that we'll hit sometime with festival fatigue, which has been a thing that we've been talking, or I've been talking to a lot of convention heads and stuff on. The whole landscape of conventions and festivals is kind of changing right now. You can see it across the country. But Marvel fatigue, festival fatigue, a lot of it is just really changing the dynamic. So probably next episode where we don't have a guest on, we're going to at least hit that a little bit, because this year has been a weird year, even with that, with vendors and different things. What festivals vendors are going to hit is making a big deal, and it's kind of like, how do I want to say it? Cutting the middle class out of conventions right now, and it's just a problem going through. So we're gonna start seeing more traveling conventions. We're gonna start seeing a lot more smaller conventions, and all these mid-tier conventions are gonna probably either go one way or another, you know, or we're gonna just see them dying off.
but then again, we've seen this before. I mean, this goes in, you know, the pendulum swings.
Right.
The pendulum swings too many. The pendulum swings not enough. And
it's about every 10 years you
Yeah.
see it real bad. You see it in conventions and festivals. I'm sure like even Derek having a shop here. I used to talk with Frank about this at Agents, talked to a lot of people. You get these turnovers like where all of a sudden you just get a new group of people, like that group of college D&D players that was always here, all kind of like went off and had kids, but you get this new group coming in, and then suddenly in a blink within like 2 years, it went from, oh, we had a lot of the same people here to like a lot of new faces at the convention. I don't know if you get that here at the shop or not.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, and you get that every so often. I've talked about it with other people. A good example for those locally, like I'd say about 20 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe when we got the big group of like when Chi and Sophie and a lot of those guys started creating their cosplay groups and all that. That is a one big push where we just got all these people coming in the profession, and then it's like you get almost nobody for 5 or 6 years, and then you start getting them again, and then after that 10-year mark, you get a whole big push of new people. And so then there's people like a lot of us who've just been around a while, and we've seen that constantly change. But then with that new group of people, they're the ones starting new events and doing new stuff, to where pretty soon all the people our age are just like, like if Derek retired and closed this store down, we might not get another one. But even before you had this store, we were just down the street. Well, this would have been years ago. We were down the street at the game shop, playing games there and doing that stuff all the time there.
Forever.
Most people have no idea that ever existed.
I know, right?
It's like that. It's just a constant change. And we're just seeing it in the convention world really heavy right now. And we're seeing a lot of seasoned festivals just closing down and going away. But anyhow, another time, another topic.
You sounded really old right there.
Did I really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm a little depressed. It's
Back when Big Macs were $1.
Yeah.
That's
Styrofoam containers. Styrofoam.
and they were made with real meat. Damn it! No, trust me. I have that conversation with the wife a lot, where it's like, when you do this stuff for a living and you're an entertainer, you're always expected everywhere you go. It's showtime. You got to be nice. You got to be friendly. You got to be. And if you're not, if you're like beat down or something's going wrong, people are like, oh, you're not supposed to act like that. You're not supposed to be negative or depressed. And
I told you years ago, that's the reason my character is an ass.
I know because
I can always be an ass, and then everybody expects
But
it.
I was in the WAGs at the time, and you're the asshole. And then I had Big Tim, who's a genuine asshole.
Not me.
No, Big that other. Yeah,
Yeah.
he knows it. He loves it. It's and then I got to be the nice guy in the middle. But yeah, when you get to work a lot, then too, you go to a convention and you start talking business, and all of a sudden things get serious, and then everybody's like, oh yeah, get on stage and be happy again. You're like, oh, I just talked to the convention owner, and he's like, I don't know if we're gonna have an event next year. And it gets it's hard to keep the business and the fun of it all separate sometimes. But we are way over. So
what did Peter O'Toole say one time? Damn it, man, act. Yeah, that's all. That's all you got to do.
I'm just gonna hit events this week, and then I think we've got 2 new Wichita events I should probably mention.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we're just doing this month's events that we're affiliated with. Today, right now, they're probably finishing up, but Wizards Asylum is doing their live auction. Then this Saturday, June 7th, is McConnell Con. We're all going to be there at McConnell Con doing, we're going to be doing the bar smoker show. I would go over all the guests. They've got a ton of them. They've got the Star Trek guys, the Ghostbuster guys. The Blues Brothers will be doing a concert there. I know not everybody can get in
Star Wars
to this. The Star Wars guys will be there. Our buddy Spencer Wilding's going to be there. I'm pointing at John because John was there when we all found out Spencer was Darth Vader and stuff, and had to keep it secret forever. So Scott Enos, that is the voice of Scooby-Doo and stuff, he will be there. We've got a number of R2D2 will be there. The new R2D2.
Yeah,
I don't know the guy's name.
If they brought Kenny, we would have a problem.
He did.
Yeah, that was
the problem.
Yeah.
That was why I winced slightly when he said it.
We can get the infrared.
Hence the name Asheville.
Yeah. And now Kenny. Just bringing him out on a
That's
cart.
what's in the attic of the Death Star.
Yeah.
It's
Kenny.
Kenny in a bucket shaped
They'll just
oddly
roll
like.
them out in the RT.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
Oh, wouldn't that be horrible if he was cremated and his urn was an R2D2?
Oh, that would be. Especially since if you've ever heard any of the interviews with Kenny and that,
he hated being in that.
they would forget him.
Yeah.
Like they would go to lunch and they would leave him in the R2 and just leave and come back, and he's still in the fucking R2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lost 74
Yeah.
pounds.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah, he
weird because he
couldn't
only
move.
weighed 50. And yeah, that poor guy, I'm sure he doesn't want to be cremated in an R2.
Oh, no.
Festival wise, those here locally, we have our river festival going on right now, which is more river than festival.
Yeah, well, they got
We've got
Hutch.
Hutch.
I believe tomorrow is supposed to be at Riverfest. Is supposed to be the Cajun. They're supposed to specialize in Cajun cuisine.
God,
Yeah.
I've been to that so many times, and it's just so not impressive.
Gosh,
It-
we speak positively.
Oh,
Well, no,
it's great.
yeah.
we gotta let people know too if things don't look good. I mean, like we used to go to the Asian Fest every year, and I love the Asian Fest, and I will promote the Asian Fest. But I will say it's not quite worth the money it once was, because you get there, you pay to get in.
Because you got the Asian Fest from Timu.
To me, no, we got a good Asian Fest. We got a couple of them, but the big one at Century 2, we've got a good one. It just the prices just continuously go up. So you suddenly
Like
you're paying
Timu.
20. Yeah, you're paying $20
It's
to
the
get in the door,
tariffs.
and then you're getting
Yeah,
It's
it's the tariffs.
remember how we said no politics, no religion.
No,
All
it's
right.
not that.
Yeah,
This is a joke because it's Asian and the tariffs are against the
There you
Asian.
go.
It was
There
a
you go.
joke.
yeah, that's actually a whole nother subject we could talk about with the anime. That's really affecting the anime right now.
Mm.
Hutch Comic Con is June 20th. It's this year. This one is Hutch Comic Con and Kansas Pride. They are smaller events. They usually not much for guests, maybe a couple cosplay guests, but it is a good event to go shopping at. Then here in Wichita, June 21st, we have Cowboys and Cocktails at Cowtown. Then
Because cowboys are known for their cocktails.
they're
Wow.
known for drinking.
Wow.
Um,
I'll take my shirt off.
that we are not performing the Cowboys and Cocktails one because we know better than to go to Cowtown and drink. We've done it.
I hear cowboys and cocktails, and all I'm thinking is this is like like a new thing from the Village People.
Yeah.
Then of course that same weekend, the 20th and 21st, we have the Topeka Renaissance Festival, which we will be at performing. They have given us a pirate bar, so I just found out today officially
We'll be in our.
we're gonna
natural
do like
element.
one regular show each day, and then the rest of the day we're just doing smokers in the bar all day.
Yeah.
So,
So it's basically
She actually-
it's a scallywag in their natural habitat.
yeah,
exactly.
she even told me on the phone. She goes, "Hey, and if you guys don't mind, because normally at festivals they're like, now remember you can't drink on stage, but you can pretend. And like, if you guys don't mind, just when you're not enjoying the festival, if you hang out in the bar and drink with people and make sure they're having a
Yeah.
good time, like
Either that's because we're really cool in the bar, or they don't want us on the streets.
I think this is one of those where they threw the dart, then painted the bullseye around it afterwards. Where are they going to be? They're going to be in the bar. Good. We'll make that where they're at.
Yeah. These are the guys we got. Where can we hide them?
Pirate cheerleader.
So
yeah,
the-
exactly.
the Topeka Ren Fest, I do not know the lineup. She started to give it to me today. I was going to get it, and then I sat there trying to convince her to hire Crazy Boy Coy with us, and I got distracted. So hopefully he will be there too, but we're not certain. And then or June 27th through 29th here, we will be at the Anime Festival Wichita at the Hyatt for the 20th anniversary show. We have various new things we've added in, like the WAGs will be bringing back Anime Fear Factor, only we're going to be doing Anime Squid Games just because we're stepping it up a notch. Sunday, we have Idol Fest, where we have all the dance idol groups from Wichita and Kansas area competing. We brought in Macro, who's a anime rapper, Jessica Cavallo, Mikey Mason. I can't go through all the names, but we got a lot of them. And then a new event for this year in Wichita that I'm just throwing out there because it's new, and I've had people ask, PokeFest, July 19th through 20th here in Pokemon.
You know, you and I both we both went there, didn't we? Yeah, we did.
I thought the Adult Video Awards were in Vegas.
No. A Pokemon card festival called PokeFest. I should have worded that different. July 19th and 20th, so it'll be next month.
I'm
here,
seeing
and
a
it'll be
lot
the
of
first-
overlap with furries here.
Oh boy.
It could be.
I choose you.
I will say I've partied with some furries, not the way you're thinking.
Hey,
And
hey, I'm just saying.
they-
where you wake up is where you wake up. That's
I
all I'm
think
saying.
furry shows get a bad rap. Not that I'm, but yeah. Yeah, I'll dress up. I just come again.
As you cough up my hairball.
A very bright purple hairball.
Oh, who blew Garfield?
For some reason, I think Roberto's got some pictures of exactly what we're
Oh,
talking
I guarantee 100% he's got some somewhere.
Oh,
So we've gone over. Derek's trying to close the store, I'm sure. So let's
yeah, he's gonna be closing here soon.
let's tear down. Thank you guys for letting us come in and do the
Thank
show.
you very
Thank you guys for showing up.
We are
'Cause,
at the Burrow in Wichita, which is on Rock Road.
So we're going to try to get in here maybe once a month, whatever the goal is, do maybe once every 6 weeks, just to see people's faces, touch grass, that kind of stuff. Get out and see people.
Grass or ass. No
I
one rides
don't-
for free.
If we do any guests for the live shows, we'll probably be doing local, like we might have Sean up here talking Star Trek one day or something, or we'll do whatever. I'm all about having people up here, but I think we're going to save most of the industry guests for our screen shows. That way we actually can hang out and talk with people here. Is
Mhm.
probably
it was really nice actually to have an audience to interact with that we weren't having to stare at the screen for.
yeah.
Well, that we
Well, and then
see
they
their
can see how you
faces.
argue with me all the fucking time.
I do not.
And-
Well, we can see their faces to know when we've gone too far.
yeah. And when people are starting to go, oh yeah. So yeah, no, I think that's it, guys. We'll log off here. I think we might go grab some grub.
Yeah.
Anybody that's wanting to go, we're willing to go whatever is here. And my son's not here, so it doesn't have to be Chipotle.
Yeah. Oh, Gannon started to drive. He's 15, so now we're gonna have to deal with him now.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
hey,
that's
hey.
all right. That means we can go do these
So
shows,
he can come
like
and do tech for us?
Cowboys and Cocktails, and he can just drive us home afterwards.
Our babies are not babies anymore.
I know. Oh, I know. All right. Having that said, guys, we will see you guys later. Kelly, I'll send you some info on printers.
Love you.
See
See
you
you.
guys next
Bye.
week. Yeah. Boom.
And